How I get sales calls so easy it feels illegal. So this week we made 6 grand. I'm filming this August 31st. I got a 3K payment just 2 or 3 days ago, and then I got another one this morning, and this was after $150 in ad spend. So in this video, I'm going to go over the main problem with selling online, like why your ads are not converting, why you're just blowing money on shit that's not working. I'm going to go over the new script line by line that's working right now that allowed me to make 6 grand this week. It's a killer ad script. And then I'll try to also explain my thinking for why it works better than what most agencies and online service providers do. So this is going to be specifically for anyone who's selling a transformation online. If you're selling a transformation online, then this script will work for you, whether you're an agency, info product, coaching, consulting, anything like that, this ad script will work for you. So let's get into it. Why your ads are not converting, okay? This is not going to be really a surprise to people, but it needs to be said. Lack of trust, nobody believes what you say, and 2, nobody's watching your ad, nobody cares. So let's start with trust, okay? They're watching an ad. They don't believe a single thing that's coming out of your goddamn mouth, okay? If you're just some kid just like telling them that you can grow their business or whatever, they don't believe you. Nobody believes you. Everybody thinks you're a scammer. Nobody trusts anyone online nowadays. And also, nobody's watching your ads. If you're doing like a 3-minute ad and like your hooks suck, obviously, but even if your hooks don't suck, they're still not watching it because they don't care, okay? On the Ads Manager, you can see what the average video playtime is. I guarantee for your ads, they're probably 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds if you're lucky. But I'm going to show you how you can correct that so that people do trust you and so that people do actually consume your content and watch your ads. How can you make somebody actually stop and watch an ad? What do you do to make somebody watch an ad? And what do you do to build trust with people in a way that most people are not doing, okay? So let's get into it. Let's start with the script, start with the hook, okay? The hook is this. This niche wanted outcome or had this problem, so I did this, okay? So let me show you some examples of this. For example, this roofer was struggling to get deals, okay? So he had this problem, so I did this. So I set him up with some $50 ads on Google, for example, okay? That's the first example. This works no matter what you're selling. So I'll give you like a weight loss example as well. This lady wanted to lose 20 pounds, so I gave her my routine and diet plan, okay? Let me explain this hook. You are, through this hook, you're calling out your ideal audience, right? So this roofer, if you're an agency for roofers, or this lady wanted to lose 20 pounds, so it's a weight loss. So you are calling out your niche, you're calling out a problem, and you're calling out a deliverable. Now, what's interesting here is that we're not actually going to make an offer to people until like 40 seconds in, right? Make offer here. So it's really interesting that this ad goes against all the conventional wisdom of like making your offer straight away, you know, I'll get you 20 clients in 30 days, blah, blah, blah. You don't actually have to do that. This is actually one of my best performing ads I've ever ran, you know, 11 USD per booked call, pretty fucking cheap. And we don't even make an offer for ages. So I'm going to show you this. This ad is basically, it's going to be like you force them to consume like a 30-second case study. And then once you've proven to them that you know what you're doing and you've built a lot of trust, that's when you make an offer. Okay, so let's go to this next step. For the next thing is you're going to do a brief overview of what you did, plus results, and then end state and emotion. So for example, the hook is, this roofer was struggling to get deals, so I sent him up with some $50 ads on Google. Okay, so that takes you 3 seconds to say, 5 seconds to say. You're calling out the niche, you're calling out a problem, and you're calling out your solution. Okay, now this is where you actually walk through what you do. So send him up with some $50 ads on Google. Then the roofing example would be like, we specifically targeted his local area and, you know, got him to the top of the search results, something like that. So brief overview of what you did, just kind of explaining what you did. So we specifically targeted his local area, specifically targeted the full roof placements that he wanted. After 14 days, he got, you know, 4 roofing jobs and made, I don't know, 50K. I don't work in the roofing industry. I don't know. And then end state is going to be like, now come from, okay, boom. So this is kind of like your first 15 seconds, okay? This roofer was struggling to get deals, so I set him up with some $50 ads on Google. We specifically targeted his local area, specifically targeted the full, I say the word specifically twice, so I say the word specifically targeted twice. Went after the full roof replacement jobs that he wanted. After 14 days, he got 4 roofing jobs, made 50K. Now he gets a steady flow of deals, doesn't have to worry about where his next job will come from. So this end state, you kind of want to hit on emotions, right? So he doesn't have to worry. That's the key part there, okay? And this is when we transition to the offer, right? So now you say, that client is not the first. I've helped dozens of roofing businesses, generate full roofing deals and solving their problem through, ads, whatever, right? So exactly what that is, no examples necessary. And then you make the offer, right? So this is when you make the offer, right? So the example here would be, so if you're a roofer looking for more deals, here's what I can do for you. Boom, and then you make your offer, okay? That's when you just make your offer and then a CTA. So if you want to get more roofing deals, just like I helped that client and so many others, click below, CTA, okay? That's gonna be your script. Now the reason that this script works so well is that it builds huge trust and authority, okay? So pay attention. You're basically forcing people to consume a 30-second case study, right? And then you can also include testimonials here, social proof, all that kind of thing for why your thing works, right? So you're not just making like big promises. Most people start their ads with, hey, are you a roofer? Well, I can get you 50K in new revenue in 14 days, right? To take this example, but nobody believes you, right? Nobody trusts you. Look at you. Why would they trust you? With this, you're calling out the niche, you're calling out the problem, and you're calling out like you're, telling them that, you might be able to do something to solve them. And then you're just telling them how you're going to solve them, which is so much more believable. And as you're saying this, in the video, as you're going through this, you want to be showing screenshots of everything that you're doing. So, right, this roofer was struggling to get deals, right? Show a photo of the business owner, right? So I set up some ads on Instagram, on Google. Show some photo, like screenshots of that as you're saying it. We specifically targeted his local area. So the B-roll would be like Google Maps, of his area. Full roof replacement, easy B-roll to find to that. After 14 days, he got 4 roofing deals. It made 50K. Now he gets a steady flow of deals. Doesn't have to worry about where his next job will come from, okay? And then in this part here, that client is not the first. I've helped dozens of roofing businesses, right? And then on the screen, you'd flash like all of your clients, in a quick, slideshow or something, showing all your other clients how they solved the problem, how they got the result through, ads on Google, for example. So because you're actually telling them exactly how your system works and you're showing them a real result, it builds huge trust and authority, which makes them believe you, right? So you're solving the lack of trust issue because you're showing them everything that you did, right? What most people do is they say, hey, if you're a roofer, I can get you 50K in 2 weeks. And then you'd show social proof where you'd be like, I helped this client make 50K in 2 weeks, and then I helped that client make 50K in 2 weeks. But nobody believes you because you're not actually telling them like how you did that, which is the conventional wisdom of how you're meant to market and sell. Is you don't talk about the how, but actually because people don't trust anyone anymore, actually explaining the how seems to be really paying off. And this works especially well when your how part is like really believable and simple and makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense, right? You got a website up, you ran some ads, you specifically targeted a local area, and you got 4 deals and you made 50K, right? So you talk about that result, you talk about the money result, and then you talk about the emotional result. That's all quite believable, So you're actually telling people, you're not even making an offer until down here. So you're not even saying you can help them until you've actually proven that you've actually done this multiple times. And this type of ad, I actually got this by, I was just scrolling through Instagram and I saw an ad like this, and I was watching it and I was confused because it was like, this goes against all the conventional wisdom of how you're meant to advertise. And yet I've seen this ad a bunch of times. He's been running it for months, and I'm checking the comments and most of the comments are positive and the ad's got a lot of likes on it, which means it must have been running for a long time. So it must be working. And when I personally was watching the ad, I was being like, damn, I actually really trust this guy. Like, this is a really good style of ad because he just talks about what he did. It's kind of like, how you're meant to, a good framework for making YouTube videos is just do things and then just talk about what you did, right? I figured out how to run ads to make money, and now I'm making a YouTube video talking about what the ad is, and that's a good idea for a video. And that same principle can be applied to your marketing, right? Think of a client that you had and what problems they had, and then just do a 30-second video where you just say, hey, this person had this problem, so I did this, right? Explain it a little bit, then transition to pitch. That client's not the first. I've helped dozens of people get that result in that niche, whatever. Make offer, address concerns. Here's what I can do for you. No, this doesn't take a huge marketing budget. We're going to do everything for you. It doesn't matter if you're not a techie person. You address the concerns and you make your CTA. So if you want to get, 50K new deals, just like I've helped that client and so many others, click below. And then as you say that, you'd show a photo of this client and you'd show photos of other clients, click below. And the second reason why this works is because why do people watch this video, right? The other problem is that nobody watches your ads because nobody cares. So why do people watch this ad? Because this video in and of itself is educational. I think this is something I heard from Tony Robbins, which is that if you want people to consume your marketing, make the marketing itself educational, right? The way that you get ahead in this world is by giving first. Exactly what I was talking about in my last video is helping people and serving people and giving first. Giving value first is how you get ahead in today's business landscape. So this video itself is educational, because every roofer who's in this industry who wants this outcome or had that problem, so you implement this, they're going to watch that video because they're going to be curious, right? Because this video is educational in and of itself, because you're basically explaining what they need to do to solve their problem. And if you're thinking, like, if you're worried that someone's going to watch this video and be like, oh, now they don't need to work with me, I'm giving away all my secrets, put that idea out of your mind, okay? Most of these guys do not want to do it themselves. They want to pay you. They want somebody else to do it. Even if you gave them all the secrets, they still wouldn't even trust themselves to do it. They want you to do it, and they're willing to pay you money so it's done right the first time. People think that if they do things themselves, they're going to fuck it up. So don't worry about giving away your secrets. You should give away all the secrets, because you're going to build so much trust and authority, and people are actually going to consume your stuff. People are going to watch, which is going to cause the algorithm to push it out to more people.